Hi! Hello there. So, today I'm going to be drawing one of my characters, well, the protagonist of my short film animation that I'm working on, and his name is Simon. And yeah, this is just one of the studies, sketching stuff that I'm doing as part of, my process for the short film. I still have to do a lot of exploration for the characters. There's him, the protagonist, and I'm not gonna reveal much about the plot yet. We got Simon, and we got his sister, and we got this little dust ball. But right now I still gotta explore a lot about the characters, the human ones, Simon and his sister. So today I'm gonna be drawing him in the new sketchbook I got. I got it a couple days back. When I left class, I went and bought it because, I needed a new one and I wanted a sketchbook small enough to fit in my pocket if I wanted it to. And I got this one. It's a Fabriano sketchbook, normal paper. It's not very heavy, it's not watercolor paper. It cannot really handle paint. It probably cannot handle marker. The ink will probably, stain the other page, but it's perfect for just silly, mindless sketching that I like to do. So yeah, and today we are going for Simon's sketch, and immediately the first post that I thought of was him just getting sad, very sad, just hugging himself as he always does, and just kind of slouched over and with a sad expression. And yeah, I just started going with that. And you see, I'm not using a pencil. Usually when I'm sketching, I don't like using normal lead pencils, like the gray graphite. I don't like it. I like it for when I'm doing something more, I don't know, when I'm already sure of what I'm gonna do and the shape of it. But when I'm sketching something like this, I like to use colored lead. So something like blue and red and yellow and orange and green. I use those kind of colors for the layers of my sketches. So that's what I'm using. And right now I'm starting with red because lately, I don't know, I've been liking sketching with blue and red because, later when you go over it, it mixes up and makes purple and it looks pretty and I like it. So that's why I'm starting with red, and then later we'll go over it in blue. And it started out okay. Well, somewhat okay, but you'll see what I mean in a bit. And it was at this point that I took a step back and looked at it and realized that I freaking hated it and that it made no sense, and I just went in with my kneading eraser and just went ham on the red pencil and just tried to erase as much as I could because, I really started to hate it at this point. It just wasn't looking right, nothing was looking right, the face shape was wrong, the legs looked kind of weird, it wasn't working, so I just went straight in with the freaking kneading eraser and just rolled it all around the page a couple of times until it faded enough. I looked again, and I was like, I can fix it. So I tried to fix it. And I just kept going, but I switched from the red to the blue. dun, 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 and everything is going okay so far. I'm left-handed, so my hand is kind of blocking the camera's view, but you'll see in a moment when my hand moves. it was going well. It was starting to go well, you know. Sometimes when you start a sketch, when you start a drawing, you will go, oh heck, this is looking terrible, and you will immediately scrap it and throw it away. But generally, I go by this rule of trust the process, man. Trust the process, even if it's looking terrible at the start, even if your sketch is looking bad, even if after the sketch it's looking terrible, don't stop. Keep going, and you know, you might surprise yourself. You might be surprised, you know, just because somebody does something that doesn't look so good at the beginning, doesn't mean that it's a completely unforgivable mistake, you know. Like, don't go ahead and kill your drawing. There's so much potential in that page. Just continue the process, man. Don't stop the sketching. Don't stop sketching, don't stop drawing, don't stop coloring, don't stop printing, don't stop sculpting, whatever you're doing. Even if it looks terrible at that moment, don't stop. Just trust the process. It's gonna look better in a few minutes. You just gotta trust the process. You know, take a step back. Maybe, you know, erase it a little with some kneaded eraser or whatever. Just take a step back. Look at it from another angle and try to think, how can I fix this? How can I make it work? You know, how can I fix a mistake? Or even if you perceived the mistake as a mistake, maybe you can turn it around and instead use it as something positive for your painting or for your drawing or whatever. For example, like if you made an accidental line, like if you accidentally made a line that you didn't want to make, like you drew a line, a scratch or whatever that you didn't want to make, maybe you can use it and turn it into something else, like a bird, or, you know, whatever. Maybe it would give a completely different meaning to the drawing or painting that you were doing. Like, don't stop. Even if it looks terrible at the beginning, just keep going. Keep going. It will turn out fine in the end. Sometimes you really just have to trust the process, you know? You really just have to trust it. Even if it looks terrible, even if you're feeling suddenly terrible about yourself and your artistic abilities, just trust that it will work in the end, because most of the time it really will. You just have to continue doing, you know. We need the practice to get better, you know. Like a few months ago, like at the start of the year, I could not draw in a cartoony style at all. But now I'm doing this, you know, I'm able to do this. I have somewhat my own style, I guess. Somewhat. I have my own style, I guess, now. I can draw in a lot of cartoony styles. I especially like drawing in Amphibia, in the Amphibia cartoon style, you know. I couldn't do that at the start of the year, but, you know, the only way that I actually learned how to do it is just, I had to start drawing and learn from my mistakes, and no matter what, I didn't stop halfway when I was drawing. Like, even when the sketch was looking terrible, I said to myself, no, keep going, look at it from another angle. How can you fix this? Maybe if you twist this, maybe if you shorten it, if you make it bigger, no, don't stop. And it was at this point, with the blue pencil, that I realized that it was actually starting to look good. With this, you know, I fixed a little mistake. I fixed a few mistakes in there, you know, something here and there, and it started to look better immediately, you know. Like, it made such a big difference. The little correction, what am I saying? Tongue-tied. The small corrections I made really made a huge difference, and I really started to freaking love the sketch. And so I just like looked at it and went like, you know, I feel like I don't want to just leave it like this. Like, I loved how it was looking, and we had the flippers and the expression, you know, and the blush, and I didn't want it to end just yet. And I kept looking at it and I'm like, this page feels too empty still. Like, I feel like I can do more. And so I just decided to draw a background. It wasn't my initial plan, but it just happened. So I just decided to, like, I don't know, make him sit in front of the stairs. So I drew some stairs and added the rails. And you know, it worked. It worked pretty well. I mean, at first, when I was doing the first steps of the stairs, I wasn't really sure. But then, after I started with the railing, I was like, oh yeah, this is working. And I really freaking started to like the sketch, the page in general. Like, I really freaking started liking it. I'm like, yeah, we went from bad to okay. And so I was like, okay, we got the railing with the stairs, but I still felt like I could do more. So I decided that I at least wanted to add, like, a glimpse of the room behind him, maybe the living room or something, a wall. And so I added that in. Like, I couldn't stop myself. I was imagining, like, well, you know, just picture this as the house in your short film. Just make it work, you know. Imagination. And so I added the wall behind him. And of course, I couldn't resist coloring the hair after a bit because it really started to look good. So I wanted to, like, balance it out because I had already somewhat colored the stairs, and I was like, you know what? I need to color his hair too. So I colored it. Then I went in with the erasers a little bit, you know, try to fix a little bit some areas that had a few mistakes, some lines that I didn't want to, you know, peek out just so much. They were a little bit too obvious at times. And so I just wanted them to be gone. And so I just went back with the eraser a couple of times. And it was all looking great. I mean, I even started to color the shorts because I went like, well, I mean, we colored his hair, so now we need some kind of contrast on the bottom, so let's color the shorts. So I did. And then I wanted to add the blush too, because I felt like the blush wasn't obvious enough. So I realized I wanted more blush, and I was like, we need more contrast. So I grabbed the red pencil again and just went straight into it and added more blush to the areas that I wanted to have blush in my style, because I decided that, like, in this cartoony style that I'm gonna be doing for the short film, there's a lot of blush on the face and joints, like wrists, elbows, you know, that sort of thing. And so I went back and did it, and it was great. It was great. It started to look freaking amazing, and I was just so glad that I had decided to do it because it really was working. And then, you know, the last thing I added was the wall, just in the background, and I suppose that I wanted to add, like, just a peak of a sofa and maybe, like, the leg of a table right in the background. They're barely visible, but, like, they're there. And then I was like, more contrast because it turned out so well, and I was really starting to feel happy with the sketch. I just went back in, but with the black graphite, with the normal gray graphite, and I was like, okay, this is working, and I just basically outlined the character. So I outlined the whole character and just, I went over the areas that looked really good and just fixed it all up. And it was, it just got better and better, and I was really happy with the sketch now. I went from being really frustrated with it at the beginning, and by the end I was really, really, really liking it. It started to look really good, and I was starting to feel proud of it. And it was a moment, it was one of those moments where I went just like, it's so cool to see a character you created come into life. Like sometimes when you're exploring your OCs, whether, it's just for fun, or for a personal project, or a short film, or, a book, or whatever, if you draw them, or sculpt them, or paint them, or whatever, it's really cool when you start to see them actually, how do I express it? It's a weird, thing to say, but because they're still just drawing, they're not they're not alive, they're inanimate, but when the drawings or the paintings or the sculptures turn out really good, they start to feel like actual characters, like people, like they have life to them in some sort of way. And that's how I started to feel about the sketch. It was looking really good, and suddenly his expression actually had some physicality to it, like something tangible that felt more real, and I was really liking it. So I was just happy with the sketch now. I continued to outline some of the lines, and I decided that I wanted to darken them, but I still wanted the character, Simon, to be the most, eye-catching thing in the sketch. So I didn't really go hard on the rest of the lines, but I still outlined the railing and a bit of the stairs. And it actually turned out really good. And after I had done that, and I added a little shadow, of course, I just went like, yes, well, we're done. It looks like we're done. And so I added the date, and I was really, really happy, and I was like, yes, I did it. And so I just added the date on the page, right in the shadow. Had it turn out really great. and I'm really happy with it. And that's what I did today. A sketch of my protagonist for my short film in progress. It's a whip, man. It will be coming at some time in 2023, like at the end of 2023. Yeah. I mean, we're still only working on the storyboards, but it'll come out in 2023. But yeah, it went great, and this is what I did, and this is my second page. Wait, second page in this sketchbook, and I hope to have more fun with it, because I really like the paper and the size, and yeah, that's what I did. Hope you liked it. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever it is. Bye.